Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, begins like all of these movies with a very general recap of what's been happening in the series so far.
People forget he's down there, waiting.
So wait a minute, are they suggesting that the community at large at one point was aware that Jason was chained to the bottom of the lake and then just put it out of their minds? And they forgot it so much that they changed the name of the town back to Crystal Lake after changing it to Forest Green in order to move on from when it was originally called Crystal Lake? That is some next level repression. Like the lake we used to go to, someone dumped a washing machine into it one time, and we are still warned to this day to not dive headfirst because you never know if another washing machine was down there. And that was like 30 years ago. I can't even imagine if a serial killer was chained to the bottom. Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood begins, I'm guessing not too long after the events of Part 6. The last time we saw Jason, Tommy Jarvis had chained him to the bottom of the lake, and the Crystal Lake County Council just decided to leave him there because a rare species of pike set up residence inside his ribcage, and now he's a protected part of the local ecosystem. We begin with 7-year-old Tina Shepard, who runs off and takes a boat to the middle of the lake in order to get away from her alcoholic, abusive father. And while her dad is standing on just the tallest pier I've ever seen, is this area going through a drought? Why is he so high up? Tina wishes that her father was dead, and her wish comes true with authority as the pier collapses, killing her father, and according to the Crystal Lake Charter, there he shall remain for all eternity. And oh yeah, we're in the child with special powers stage of the series. Always an exciting time in any franchise. We then jump about 10 years later, and Tina and her mother are going back to the lake house so Tina can continue her therapy sessions with her psychiatrist, Dr. Cruz. Cruz is played by a mustache-less Terry Kaiser, and I don't like it. It's like Tom Selleck. He just looks weird without a mustache. No. Dr. Cruz wants them to stay at the house where her father was killed to hopefully make a breakthrough in her treatment.
So this is where it all started. Well.
You really think that we're doing the right thing, don't you?
We've done all we can do for her at the hospital, and she just hasn't made enough progress.
So I guess Dr. Cruz is taking the Dr. Loomis approach to psychiatry. Whereas Dr. Loomis was just burnt out on his whole profession, it seems like Dr. Cruz is just trying to stay at a lake house for free. And since it's a Friday the 13th movie, staying next door is about a dozen teenaged friends who all seem like they just met that afternoon. And they were all very generic one-note characters.
Hi. There goes the neighborhood.
You do see Nick wearing cut-off jean shorts, right? I mean, a sensible sweater is way ahead of short cutoffs. I mean, when Nick crouches, I guarantee his sack just kind of hangs out.
No, that's
Whoa! Don't crouch in cutoffs, Nick. We've been over this.
Thanks.
Here.
Thanks. You've been a great help.
You know, Nick, I think the sight of your nutsack appears to be angering her. As it should. Dr. Cruz begins his work with Tina, but we learn right away that Cruz is only interested in Tina's telekinetic powers, and he screams at her until she sets a matchbook on fire with her mind and then runs off. Tina is incredibly upset and is crying looking at a photo of her dad, and that's the picture they hung up to remember him by, huh? I guarantee her dad was drunk when he posed for that picture. Hey, Karen, come take my picture. Do you want to fix your hat, or maybe lose it all together? Just take my picture, bitch. I look awesome, and then get an 8x10 and hang it in my study. It's gonna be awesome. Looking at the picture upsets Tina more, and she then runs off towards the lake and wishes that she could bring her father back to life. And because psychic powers are fickle, she instead brings Jason back to life. And again, just absolutely hilarious that the authorities just left a rotting corpse in the lake for a decade.
Daddy?
Asmodee is your new daddy now, Tina. Ew, what? Don't say things like that. If you're inhabiting my body, then don't be creepy and weird. It was supposed to sound menacing. She's clearly a teenager, just try to be cool.
Tina faints and Jason and Asmodee walk off into the night. And I do have to say that Part 7 is just about the coolest that Jason has looked so far. With his bones exposed, he just looks so badass in this movie. As he shall forever. When Tina comes to, no one believes her about what she saw.
Dr. Cruz, I saw him, but I can't describe him.
So is Jason just not common knowledge? Like, the entire United States should know who Jason Voorhees is. And for someone who lived at ground zero of Murder Central, where one masked man violently murdered 50 people, to not know of him? I can't. I can suspend disbelief somewhat, but this is just too much. Like, if it happened today, there'd be no fewer than 1,000 podcasts about Jason Voorhees' crime spree, all with the titles like Behind the Mask or some shit. You know, it'd be hosted by 2 comedians. One comedian would actually be trying to tell the story, and the other is just telling terrible jokes the entire time, just not participating at all. And you can tell that the main comedian is just getting so frustrated with them. Yeah, like that. But 1,000 of them. Jane and Michael's car breaks down, so they go into the woods to camp out for the night. And we find that they were on their way to Crystal Lake for a surprise party for Michael, And in Friday the 13th rules, we have learned the maximum amount of information about them so that when they're murdered, we can at least eulogize them somewhat. Michael goes to pee when Jason comes up behind Jane.
Feel my breath as Asmodee comes into you from behind. Choose your words more carefully. Also, Asmodee stabbed that knife through her head and into Jason's hand. Have some situational awareness, Jeezy crazy.
And then they unceremoniously kill Michael. Oh, Michael, last name to be determined. You really were a character who had to pee on his way to a surprise party. And I mean that. You'll be missed. That night, Nick manages to find the rest of the denim for his pants, and then some, and it looks like he even has a denim undershirt. Oh man, that's gotta be itchy and uncomfortable as hell. I love it. That is true denim commitment. That's how you separate the denim men from the denim boys. And he invites Tina over to help celebrate his cousin Michael's surprise birthday party. I don't even like going to surprise parties for people that I know. And in the grand tradition of Crystal Lake parties, this surprise party is kind of lame and weird. Again, I know friend groups are usually diverse, but none of these people would be hanging out in real life. Like you have Eddie the geek sci-fi writer, whom no one seems to like, Melissa the uber bitch, whom no one seems to like, Maddie the shy nerdy girl, whom no one seems to like, and then you got Dave, who everyone inexplicably loves.
To the best. Disgusting little girl.
That doesn't make any sense. Dude looks like he sucks. And Tina then has a vision of Michael getting killed by Jason, and she freaks and storms out. And she goes to tell her mom and Dr. Cruz about it. Now, Tina, I know it's upsetting to see your doctor making himself at home in your father's chair, but I can assure you, I am also sleeping in his bed. And we then meet two randos, and I don't even think they have names.
Let me meet you.
Dan.
Oh my god, his name is Dan? Okay, they are beyond No one named Dan has ever survived a horror movie. And before you come after me, whatever character you are thinking of named Dan that survived a horror movie is actually named Danny, so it does not count. So Dan goes to collect firewood.
This pathetic mortal looks like John Gruden cosplaying as Clark Griswold from Christmas Vacation, am I right? What? Are those friends of yours? I keep forgetting that I'm an immortal hell demon for which time and space have no meaning, but trust me, remember what this guy looks like because that reference will be hilarious in like 5 years. What happened to you? Hey Jason, have you ever seen a giant banana? What? Have you ever seen a giant banana split?
So the surprise party wakes up for round 2 the next morning, and holy hell, there are too many people here. Every minor character in a Friday the 13th movie needs to say the name of the person they are speaking to every single sentence. I don't care how awkward it sounds. Do you have any idea how difficult these videos are when you have 20 interchangeable characters and you have no idea what their names are? So Nick and Tina start to bond by the lake. So the key to cleaning denim is to only wash it with cold water, and then only with other denim. You don't want to mix it with polyesters or, God forbid, Dacron. Can you imagine? That's a mistake a lot of denim rookies make, but trust me, once you figure it out, it's a total game changer. Hey, now you want to watch me skip this rock all the way across the lake? So what about you? What's your denim routine?
To come up here all the time until my dad got killed in the lake.
Oh, denim downer. Melissa plays a mean prank on Tina, and Tina almost kills her with her own necklace, and she runs back home, but Cruz still won't listen to her. I just finally had my mail forwarded here, and I'm not about to change it again. And also, do you know where your father's swim trunks are? I'd like to take a dip, and I seem to have forgotten mine. So she chucks a TV at him and runs off again. You know, 90% of her character is just running away from something upsetting. So we reach hour 28 of Mike's surprise party, and everyone is getting a little stir-crazy, which is typically what happens when a party enters its second day. Cruz is out walking in the woods when he finds the body of Michael, and he runs back to the house and is confronted by Mrs. Shepard because she discovered that he's exploiting her daughter's psychic abilities, and he tells her that he's going to have Tina committed. I can't tell if Mrs. Shepard is surprised by this, because that's just kind of what she always looks like. Tina overhears this conversation and runs off, again, and crashes when she has a vision of Jason murdering her mother. And this is when the movie heads into overdrive because we have to clean up a lot of clutter. Maddie wants David to notice her, so she gives herself a makeover and transforms into a 52-year-old divorcee named Barb. So she immediately goes outside and starts walking through the woods calling for David.
David?
Like, nothing indicated that David was outside. And like, she didn't even do what they normally do where they see a shadow and follow it thinking that it's someone else. Like, she just went outside and started calling his name. She runs into Jason and he chases her down and just destroys her. Kind of. This movie isn't very graphic.
Hello, Madison. Welcome to the Stabbin' Cabin. Stabbing cabin doesn't mean what you think it means. And if it does, ew, again, she's a child. I know she looks like my Nana, but I swear she's not.
Ben and Kate are having sex in the van when they hear a noise outside, and for some reason think that it's the birthday boy Michael. Like, there are 25 people at this house, and he's dead set on assuming it's the guy who's 2 days late.
All right, Michael. Come on. Where are you, buddy?
I gotta say, no one has an imagination quite like someone who's about to be murdered by Jason. Like, they hear a twig snap, and it's all like, oh my god, is that John? Haha, where are you, John? Oh my goodness, John Isaacs. I haven't seen you since 3rd grade. What are you even doing all the way out here, you old so-and-so? Hey, John, where you at? Quit hiding, buddy. Robin and Dave have sex, and then Dave goes downstairs, and Jason kills him and somehow plants his head back in Robin's room.
Oh man, we were waiting out there for a long time. It took you forever to find that.
Yeah, we couldn't wait any longer to give you head.
Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. 10 years underwater really messed him up.
Dr. Cruz and Mrs. Shepard go running through the woods looking for Tina.
Wasting time, don't you understand that, Mr. Shepard?
Is that my old college roommate Buck? What the heck is he doing all the way out here? I haven't seen him in 20 years. Hey, Buck, stop hiding, you son of a bitch. Oh, Mrs. Shepard, you're gonna love him. Buck's the greatest. They see Jason, and Cruz proves that he's a coward, but not just your run-of-the-mill, take off and leave Mrs. Shepard to her fate type of coward. He is Upham from Saving Private Ryan, Donald Gennaro from Jurassic Park, Burke from Aliens, Percy from The Green Mile, and Scoobert Doolittle all rolled into one, and he uses Mrs. Shepard as a human shield, and then decides to run. He didn't even buy himself all that much time.
Oh, stupid thing.
You have to prime it first.
Jason did prime it, that's why it worked the first time.
There must be a loose connection somewhere. Find it.
Look, Jason's eyes were eaten by minnows. Jason is just finding his way around by memory at this point.
Tina sees Jason and finally learns to control her powers and F's Jason up. She electrocutes him, collapses a porch onto his head, causes him to fall through the stairs.
Oh, we fell through that like it was nothing. I think this house might have termites.
Well, you know, Jason, it's nighttime, and I've heard that wood is usually more hard in the morning.
Ew, okay. Now it's starting to feel intentional at this point.
And Jason is about to kill Nick when Tina squeezes his hockey mask. Gah! Jason is really pushing the limits of a face only a mother could love. Because while Mrs. Voorhees was psychotic, I think even she would be kind of weirded out by what Jason has become. I mean, Jason's quality of life is pretty much non-existent, right? Like, he'll never be able to land a job. Jason pulls Tina down into the basement and she douses him with gasoline and sets the house on fire. And for some reason, every house built before 1995 was set to explode if it ever caught fire.
It's all gone.
Don't worry, we'll get you another jean jacket. I've got a jean jacket guy. And beyond all reason, Jason is still alive. No idea how. Jason has been way more teleporty than usual this movie. And Jason is about to kill Tina when we witness either the stupidest or greatest moment in the entire franchise. When Tina conjures her dead dad and he lunges out of the lake and drags Jason back down to the depths. I have several questions. So does this mean that her dad's body is still in the lake? I mean, he died like 3 feet from the shore. Did no one try to recover his corpse? And if they did haul his rum-soaked bones out of there, then where did his ghost come from? Can Tina bring anyone back to life? There doesn't even seem to be a time limit. Jason and her dad have been dead for over 10 years. And also, Jason got to walk around for a couple of days, but she makes her dad save her life and then go back to his watery grave? Can she just go and bring her mom back to life? I feel like a 3-movie arc with Tina Shepard would have been way more interesting than Tommy Jarvis. Unless it was a 3-movie arc with Gollum Tommy Jarvis. I would watch an entire Netflix series about that dude. So the nightmare is over for now, and who knows what's next for Tina. Like, seriously, the movies never mention her again. Let's say that her and Nick open up a psychic denim shop in Denver. Sound good? Ready, break!